Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the garage, welcome back to the 24 valve Cummins build. So we're getting a little bit of a later start than I wanted to today. Actually, in preparation for this, we didn't drive the truck to work today. I've been driving it to work. It's a blast to drive. Other than not having AC, the thing is great. We do have some steering issues that we have to resolve, but if you guys know anything about these trucks, that's not uncommon. But I think I got it narrowed down to what we need to do. But like I said, other than that, truck's been driving great. We got our belt issue solved. Haven't had any issues with that at all. But, you know, like I said, today we didn't drive it to work just so it would be cool when we got to it. But went to mow the grass today, and, well, as you guys can see, the grass is not mowed. Starter issue on that. The gears stripped on the starter for the mower. Just a bunch of random crap. So anyway, we also had to do a little service on our Polaris four-wheeler to get ready for the weekend. All we had to do was an oil change, which there's a little skid plate under here to get to the oil filter, and then the drain plugs down there. And Polaris makes these nice little kits, oil change kit. You just buy this, 2 quarts of oil, oil filter, and you're good to go. But we also had to replace our air filter because, well, old Ratatouille, he decided to make a gourmet meal out of it. So that is a result of not riding this thing as much as I should. Pretty much this thing's been relegated to just hunting season duty the last few years. But anyway, we got our oil change done on this because hopefully we have some fun riding activities to get into this weekend with this thing. But we are all good to go other than, I had to pull the cable out of Mr. Winch because I think Mr. Winch burned up too, which is probably due to riding this thing during hunting season down to hunting camp. Salt water, yeah, just bad on everything. So anyway, now on to what we're getting into tonight. All the side stuff, well, aside. So anyway, we are going to actually be boosting the power of the 24 valve Cummins. So I'm really excited about this. This is a part I've been waiting for, and we actually found used yesterday locally. I mean, extremely close here to the house. So this is going to add power and tunability to our 24 valve. And as you can see here by the box, we're getting it from Carolina, built for work. No, it's not Carolina boots. It's just the box the guy had it in, but it is a Quadzilla power, Quadzilla Adrenaline. So this is the tuner I've been looking for. If you look around at the tuners, we already have a Super Chips flash module on this, which is nice if you want a little bit more oomph and you're not really worried about, you know, just kind of set it and forget it. But I really wanted the Adrenaline because it offers the capability to custom tune. So we can kind of do what we do with the race truck and other stuff, and we can dial in the tune for our setup. Now, we don't have much done right now. Pretty much the biggest things we have done is our air dog to supply our VP44 with good fuel, our fluid amper to keep things balanced, and our Flux Diesel 90 horse injector. So just a great little injector for stock turbo application, and so far the thing is very peppy with that 60 horse from our Super Chips. But this Quadzilla Adrenaline is supposed to add 180 as it sits. So very excited about this. So these come in modules for, you know, your 98.5 to 2002 24 valve trucks, and then your 5.9 common rail trucks. You can also get them for, they're not interchangeable. That being said, if you get one of these, they are labeled as 98.5 to 2000, and then there's 2001 and 2002. All that is different plugs on the module. See, as you can see, this connector here, because they have different map sensors and different data links and stuff like that. The great thing about it is if you go on Quadzilla's website, they have like a little section talking about the used stuff, how you can convert like an 021 to a 98.5 or vice versa. You got to buy a couple connectors and all that. Luckily, this came off a 99 truck, so we are in luck. Now, I was talking about custom tuning. We actually can't do that with this right yet. So this one comes with kind of your base model, if you will, and it just has this little control pod, which allows us to change our tune up and down, but we can also monitor our EGT, our boost, our fuel pressure, and our transmission temperature. So we are missing our transmission temperature gauge. We don't have the fuel pressure gauge yet. We're not going to put the EGT probe. Basically, we can just read the map sensor with this thing right now. So this thing's very simple. You got this little module you mount in the under the hood of the truck, and then you have like your map sensor. Let me just sort this thing out real quick. All right, so I got this thing all kinds of sorted out now, or at least a little bit better. So going through these connectors, we have the fuel pressure transducer connector, which we can't use right yet until we get that, which we will. We have our ground. We have 2 power wires. One is just for a battery hot, and the other is actually an ignition on source, so it knows when the truck is on. This gray connector here is actually for our control module, which we can change this out. Like I said, we will have the ability to custom tune once we get rid of this. You can change it out for either one that is compatible with Android or one that is compatible with an Apple iOS, and change that out to a Bluetooth setup so you can actually use your phone for gauges. But this will serve our purpose for right now. Also, we have this connector here is actually for our EGT probe. We have our pump tap. So this pump tap, which we will go into later, actually taps into one of the wires on the pump to give us more fuel with our tuning. How that all works, I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. This is for our data link, this connector right here. This is one of the ones that if you have an 01 or 02 truck would be a little different, but once again, if you have a different module, you can always change it out. And then we have our map sensor here. So one plug will plug into our map sensor and the other will plug into the harness on the truck. And then right here we have our transmission temperature wire. So we are not going to hook this up either because we are missing that sensor, but we also don't have a transpan that is tapped right yet. So anyway, pretty simple install. Just got to run the wires. Basically, the hardest part of this thing is going to be making it look kind of clean, but we do have some stuff that is not going to be ran right yet. We basically have our map sensor to hook up, our pump tap, our data link, and our power and ground wire. So we'll get this thing installed, and the 24 valve will have a little bit more power. Like I said, the Super Chips claims 60 horse. This claims 180, and then once we get the custom tuning it, we'll be able to control smoke. You know, eventually when we get a bigger turbo, which is going to happen at some point, we can do that. Maybe if we get bigger injectors, so on and so forth, we can keep the truck clean, we can keep it, make it power, and just keep control of what the truck's doing. So I'm really excited about this. For years, you basically had the little Lyre modules like the Edge comp box, which everybody raved about. I have no experience with it, but that was the go-to tuner for these for years. But now everybody kind of says that this is the way to go with the Quadzilla Adrenaline. So that's Quadzilla Adrenaline. Man, let's just get to it because I'm stumbling all over my words and I'm hot, I'm sweaty. Let's just get this in and see how she got. Let's just get to it. Man. All right, so yeah, sorry, there's really not much to show you guys. It's been, well, anyway, got our Adrenaline here sitting just on our fuse box right now. We've got all of our, our EGT probe, our transmission probe, our fuel pressure probe stuff. That's all to the side. Don't have our control pod hooked up yet. Our wire is ran inside, but the power isn't hooked up. Got a power wire to battery, ground to the body. Got our pump tap in right here. So what you do is you find the uppermost set of wires on your VP44, the one closest to the block, like the top wire, that's the one you tap into, and that just allows you to control the pump a little bit with your tuning. Now, this is not how I was originally going to go about this. Where did I put it? So the original plan was to use this BD Diesel. It's like a stealth pump tap kit. Basically, it replaces the cover that is on the VP44. So this cover would have gone in place of that, and then there is a little Allen head screw with a what do you call it? With a point on it, and you drive that down into the wire, and that would be your pump tap here. It's a nice built aluminum piece. It would have, you know, just kind of like it's called a stealth. It would have looked good, just a nice cleaner way to do it. But all but this Torx head on the VP44 stripped out. I spent a ton of time trying to get them. Finally decided we'll just use the old-fashioned tap, and well, I don't know if we'll ever do anything with this. So if you need the BD Stealth tap, let me know. So another thing that took a lot of time was finding the data link. So according to Quadzilla's instructions, it's down near the front motor mount. Couldn't find it. I looked all over, was looking at all the harness here. Finally, I crawled under the truck, and the data link is actually down here. So that's not it. Right here is the data link. It was down underneath, like the power steering pump. It just, until I got under the truck, I couldn't see it. So we had to move our apps to get access to our pump tap. We had to undo our intake manifold, so we got to put all that back, trying to secure our Quadzilla, get our wire for our control pod ran, and get power to it. And it's starting to rain, so yeah, sorry for the lack of stuff to show you, but it's kind of just electrical connections, pretty basic stuff, and just a bunch of hassle like with that thing and finding the anyway, let's get this thing back together and call it a night. All right, so we are done with our Quadzilla install, I think in the nick of time. Sounds like it's gonna start getting nasty out. As you guys can see, the entire ground is wet, but our Quadzilla is fully installed. We definitely need to tidy up some wiring down in this region. There's a lot of kind of crap all over the place, but not gonna do that tonight. Our Quadzilla is installed with a bit of extra zip tie, which I forgot to clip off, but we'll do that at some point. It's not really a big deal. But we got that all installed. Also, another annoyance of mine, every morning I come out for work, go to start the truck, put my stuff in there, it's kind of dark out, and well, this is what happens. So as you can see, the light didn't work. I thought, hey, maybe it's something stupid, or I thought, you know, whatever, you know, it's a pretty much space truck. Then I got in the passenger side one day, I said, well, this one lights up. So now she lights up. So all we had to do was replace this switch. The switch was just gone. It wasn't even like it was bad. It was just completely missing. So got our little control pod up there, just temporarily ran. We will get the Bluetooth one so we can custom tune. But if we turn the truck on, our Quadzilla comes on right away. You press this button all the way to the right, you can cycle through EGT, boost, fuel, trans. Boost is the only one we can read, or you can just go to your power level. So that's 0, and then you can just keep on climbing. On. So there's 10 levels, I guess it is. I'm trying to remember what they all are, but you get to a certain point, it's like, this is just timing, this is just this is the pump tap. So I'm gonna look and see where is supposed to be about 60 horse, which I'll do real quick. So here is the Quadzilla tuning, the different power levels. There's the legacy tuning and the V2 tuning. I'm not sure what's on this thing. When we get our Bluetooth module, we'll be able to make sure it's the V2 tuning, which is like the newest, latest, and greatest. But this is their from the factory tuning. But as you can see, 00 is stocked with boost fulling. and then mile per gallon 60, you know, going down on the one side and going down on the other. But when you get up here around 10, you know, you're at 180. 9 is either 165 or 160. So we should be either number 3 or number 2 to be about 60 horse. So we'll set her at number 3 and see how she feels. And tomorrow, as I feel comfortable that everything's good, I'll turn her up and we will run it with our draggy eventually and see what the difference is at the different power levels, see how everything is, and why is that staying on. All right, so now it's off. We're good. And no more light. So guys, we got our Quadzilla Adrenaline in. We still got a bunch of stuff to put on it when we get it. We can put our EGT probe in, which with the stock turbo, I'm not worried about it. Those 90 horse injectors are pretty much for a stock turbo type application. So I'm not worried about that too much, but we can check our boost, we can check our trans temp. But when we get our Bluetooth module, all that stuff should probably come at the same time once we order it. Then we can go off of my phone or off of like a tablet or something. We'll be able to read all that stuff at once. So, yeah, it's in. I'm excited to drive it. It's a shame we couldn't do it tonight, but we had a couple setbacks, like as far as that finding that data link. That was a pain, and then messing with that pump cover. But like I said, it sounds like it was just about perfect timing, because it's gonna start getting nasty, I think. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're excited for it too. Hopefully we can get this thing down to Cecil. I know starting in September, they're gonna start opening up on Wednesday nights as well. So maybe we can, you know, dip out of work, go down there, run a few passes with this truck, and then come home. With the caveat, this stock trans and doing that, and especially if this thing actually gives 180 more horse, and plus we have our flux diesel injectors, yeah, the trans is probably not going to like it. So we might have a trip to Muldoon's at some point, but we're going to definitely try and hurt that thing before we have to go to that route. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you, yep, here comes the thunder and lightning. So I'm going to get a shower real quick. I hope you enjoyed. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Catch you guys on the next one. Get out in your garage, get the wrenching on your truck.